Welcome everyone to tonight's events. Our lovely crew is here, and the fun shall be had. So, we go in and see what's going on in the world of our fine folks. Dumbcraw. You killed me, dude. You killed me.
To be fair, your lack of responsibility as a builder killed you, but, you know, let's not worry about it.
No one else was doing anything.
I know, that's why your lack of responsibility failed you. You had one last wall segment to build before we had a funnel point, and you failed to do it. You were out there, I think, picking up resin.
Well, then why'd you make the wall need resin? No, just kidding. Tell us what's going on in your area, though. We can fill everything in on the joke going on.
Just been streaming, and I've been working on some of my mods. However, big news for me, Bohemia Interactive for DayZ puts out a spotlight every couple months. And I was one of the very first modders, or person who had a mod in that spotlight, ever. They had one other person, but they had to pull it because of other issues. I was the first official modder to ever be highlighted in their spotlight, and I'm very, very proud of it.
That is awesome, dude. Congrats. I'd heard that, and I was like, dude, way to go down.
Yeah. Other news, I've just been playing some Nemoria and some DayZ, and I've been having a hell of a time doing it. I've got back into my development streams, which have been quite a fun thing to do.
Nice. And then trying to drop trees on your wife's head?
Yes, definitely Valheim. Me and my wife are going to be playing that game weekly now. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's all I got.
Cool. Well, awesome, dude. We will travel over to Mr. Jarl of Goats. What is the fun is going on with you, man?
Not much. I have my interview with Wild RP tomorrow to see if I get in. Other than that, tomorrow we have our Death of the Deities Dungeons & Dragons game. Saturday we did have to cancel. Fallout Aurora just found out today because poor Damon has some stuff he has to do for him and his family. So I was like, all right, don't stress it. We'll cancel it. But other than that, looks like this week should be back to normal schedule.
Cool. On that topic, if anyone else is interested in Fallout 2D20, I believe Plaid was trying to get a game going.
Indeed.
So, you know anyone who's interested in it, you can have them ping him or mention it in the game recruitment channel that I have.
Is it a tabletop game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in. Count me in, dude. Fucking pencil me in the slot, dude. I'm a gangster tabletop player.
If you check the Discord channel, I have a game recruitment, what we can use to get people for that. And if you haven't seen the Fallout 2D20, you really need to catch Cheryl's game on Saturday. Beautiful.
As long as there's not going to be like just two people, because that's what happened last time in my similar tabletop experience. Me and Code were the only two people that played, and we played each other to.
There was technically two others that then bailed, but yeah. Let's
we played each other to exhaustion,
jump over to Lambast. What do we find Lambast doing right now as we zoom in and catch his thoughts on what's recently transpired? Winter setting in.
Over the past few weeks, we have trained some fully capable future soldiers for the possible upcoming fight. We've been battening down for the winter, and we found a strange, out-of-the-place creature thanks to Reese investigating local woods. The creature turned into ice as soon as we decapitated its corpse to show off our trophy. Coming back to the Viking town, we find that the Jarl is missing. Amazingly enough, he was back at his forge or some other workshop trying to reclaim some of his former responsibilities rather than take on the responsibilities of the Jarl. Seems like some people have returned from some of their things, and our friend Bjork has taken an interest in one of them, trying to help out where he can. Seems like Varger has taken some more of his responsibilities as being a priest for the god that he is around since his mother came to visit. And Lamb sits there just sitting on his bed, thinking about his thoughts in a meditation after rudely being mean to a woman who was interested in him purely for the entertainment of a good story. I think that's about it.
That was very interesting. So, you all have the winter to survive through, and we're getting towards the end of, or if I remember correctly, we did part of that last time, getting into the winter. What all do you guys want to do during the winter? Anything particular, or move quicker towards spring?
I know Lamb would continue to train recruits, keep trying to get them better. Maybe jokingly talk to Bjork every now and then, trying to keep up the relations.
Yeah, and Bjork's going to focus on his boat building when he can, but given that it's winter, it's not the best season to build a boat, so he's only doing the main rib work and waiting for spring where he can start flexing the wood and doing the rest.
Makes sense. Alright. So, ship, and yeah, once spring comes, you'll definitely be able to do that.
Wait on me? I probably did, but I was trying to flip my mic room, talking to my girlfriend and everything else.
Okay.
I apologize if I interrupted the game.
So yeah, winter is in harsh swing. You guys work on your different tasks. Varga, were you going to do anything, or just keep up with your, for lack of a better term right now, with my brain not fully functional, priestial activities?
I'd like to roleplay a little part with Varga if I get a chance.
Sure. Varga, are you here? Or do you need to mute? Pause for a moment. Looks like he may have had to take a quick break. So we'll focus on the others for now, and then as soon as he's able, we'll do that. For Bjork, let's go ahead and have you roll for your longship, the quality that it's turning out and the speed at which it's going. Do a skill check on that.
And oh no.
Oh.
I think I will use my inspiration. I'll just throw it in the middle there. Much better. Okay, that would be... looks like a total of 20.
Okay. Good. Much better than your first go round.
One. I'm sitting there, this will be the perfect boat, and I'm just building it upside down.
Right. That's what inspiration's for. Oh man. That's why I hadn't been doing it before, but I like doing it because it helps with the story, actually. Yeah. So with a 20, you're able to be making fairly good rapid progress, actually, and doing quite fine craftsmanship. Due to not being able to do some of it with the weather, you're actually able to start some work on some additional work. Would you want to work on fortifications for the town, additional longship, just smaller fishing boats? What would you put your work towards?
I'm not fighting about this all night.
Probably fishing boats so that they're small, they're quick to make, and it can help supply food for the winter.
Okay, well there are some fishing boats that it's just you'd have additional if you wanted.
Right.
There's not just making sure you knew there was not like a shortage of them, but yes, having more could help.
There's a shortage of food.
Correct.
So I figured that might help that.
Just want to make sure that there was no misunderstanding on that. So, perfect. So you're able to get a few fishing boats underway as well, and then you'll be able to finish them off in the spring when weather's a little bit nicer for, the bending, as you put it.
Is there any hope of capturing whales or dolphins or something like that on those fishing boats?
I mean, if you want to go out in the winter and doing it, sure.
Say for example, if you had a really good harpoonist,
you could try.
Just an idea. Just tossing it out up in there. I'm sorry, my voice is so bad. I can't. I'm having a hard time talking.
I understand, man. All right, Lambast, let's have you do a roll for your training.
Oh yeah.
How have your troops been shaping up?
I love that response. Oh yeah.
Hopefully good.
Well, if someone said "oh no" before it, it would have made
20.
even more fun for him to say "oh yeah." Nice. So yeah, Are you focusing on that group, or are you working on all of them still?
Oh yeah.
I would be focusing on. I would have told the captains. I would have told the captains that they need to choose the people they wish to be in their squads, and then I would have worked with each captain and their squad to help them like battle, and we would have had like fake skirmishes between the different groups. This is what Lamb would do. He wouldn't like focus only on Pacific the peons versus the captains. He'd be trying to teach the captains how to use the people in their team.
Okay, so basically you're focusing on the leaders and then helping them train their people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, they're shaping up like they're doing pretty well. That definitely will improve their leadership.
Can I have one moment of comedy?
What's up?
I want to go to like the seawall where all the people are training, and I want to do the Ric Flair strut and be like, "To be the man, you've got to beat the man." Whoa, and just stomp back and forth 3 or 4 times like that. Just
I mean,
attention to ourselves. Like they don't know what it means. We know what it means, and it's funny. I don't care.
Doing that, you might go ahead and attract some unwanted attention. Either Lambast or them might decide to take you on.
Okay, I don't want to fight my own friends. That's ridiculous.
I said you might.
I don't think they want to fight me either. But
I mean, this is an opportunity. These where they try to be comedic. I could just be all like, I haven't seen a man strung up by his toes for a while. Maybe our friend who thinks it's a joke that we're training should be taught a lesson.
How would Reese respond to something like that?
he just keeps doing his little stomp around. He's just trying to. In his mind, he's trying to instigate the crew. Like, to be the man, you got to beat the man. You got to beat the man. Whatever that means to them. You got to beat the man in sailing. You got to beat the man in fishing. You got to beat the man in physical combat.
Roll a dex save.
What's that?
Roll a dex save.
No problem.
Their leader has said something about you, thereby instigating things.
Dice.
You looking for the d20?
Yeah, I gotta find it.
Where?
They're hard.
There's one right there.
Yeah, so I don't roll an advantage.
Nope. Just straight.
Yeah, 17 plus dex is 3. That's a 20.
Okay, you're able to dodge out of the way as a couple of them dive at you and they land into each other.
Oh. Boys, that's not how you take down a person bigger than you. I mean, I'm guessing Reese is a mountain of a man.
He's not necessarily a mountain of a man, but he has the presence and the look of a mountain of a man. Like he's not much bigger than most people, but you can see his muscles bulging, and he's just an intimidating individual. He just has,
That boy thick.
yeah, exactly. That boy's thick.
Lamb looks at all of the guys. To take down such a foe, it requires the many. All at once. Get him.
Okay. Roll at disadvantage. Dex save.
No problem.
I don't mind if you the instigation happens, it would make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
go
wow.
with the natural 20 plus 3 is 23.
No disadvantage. Lesser of the two.
Oh, then 21.
Still. So they start diving at him in a moment of sheer luck and vigor. You see Reese acrobating around as they're diving for him, and yeah, he's evading, but it's definitely taking a toll on his energy.
All right. Would you say Reese is panting or like heavy breathing?
Heavy breathing, yes.
All right, guys, that's enough. You see how you've weakened the enemy without weakening too many of yourself individually?
Yeah,
That's how you take down a big predator. All right, back to practice.
Claire flies like 10 feet into the sky, and she just screams, "Wah!" as loud as an owl can scream. Like she's proud of me, you know. Like,
is she a screech owl or is she a?
She's a hunting owl. I mean, like a regular owl, but still, she would have a nice verbal. I mean, no, in the event that she was trying to scare out predators, she would have a nice little audible announcement.
Okay. Varder, have you been able to make it back?
Yep.
Okay. What all are you doing during this winter? Just your normal priestly duties or something else?
Probably, yeah. I mean, he's come very close to death for like the first time in a long time. And that's gonna shake him even more. When people go through life or death experiences, one of the first things they go through is crisis of faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say that he's kind of latched onto his faith even more so than before. Like he was kind of doing other things other than that at the same time. Now he's almost like treating his cats like little miniature versions of his god, and kind of just like he's become a reclusive cat man. Is that the cat lady?
Mm-hmm. So basically, like redoubling his efforts to petition his god and try to make sure things are right with her.
Right, like something must not have happened right in order for him to nearly die. He must not have been faithful enough, and then he spends the winter just trying to be twice as faithful as he used to.
Okay. During that time, Reese said he wants to actually approach you. So, Reese, you can go for that now.
So I find you in your little hut of
cats.
religion, you know, and cats and everything like that. And I sit down next to you and I say, "Can we have the drink?"
One of the things that hits you, like when you come into my little cat base, is that I've been trying to keep it nice and kind of clean for Varder to live in, but there's still like this strong. It smells like cat piss. Let's be perfectly honest here. They're kind of using it as their kind of place.
But last time I came here, we had a drink, and Reese thinks that's socially, the social norm. So,
Alright.
Yes, can we have the drink?
Vargo will nod kind of absently, like he heard what you said, but he's not really paying attention, and he'll kind of just he'll go to sit someplace. He'll go sit next to you on one place, and a cat just kind of strolls over and sits down. So he just kind of backs away a little bit, goes around and sits on the other side of you.
Okay, so whether or not we get to drink, what is this going on? So, Rhysand looks at you and Rhysand says, Rhysand looks at you and he says, like, my friend Varder, you offer no shame to us or your village or your party. You fought with great pride. Rhysand has failed so many times fighting and hunting. You offer no shame. I am proud to be your brother. And kind of brushes his legs off, finishes his drinks, and walks out.
Parker actually just kind of just takes it in, and as Reese is getting up to leave, he kind of like catches him by the cuff of his, to grab him by the cuff of his wearing.
Reese looks down at him with hopeful eyes that he understood what he said. You know, like just hopeful eyes. You know, that's all I gotta say.
It's nice to have more brothers. Come back for drinks more, please.
Of course, I will. Let me get the forest situated, and I shall see you again soon, my friend, my brother.
Camera pans it back over to Bjork, who's finishing up his day's work and packing up to head home. What's your process of wrapping up for the day and heading home?
Mostly just making sure that... Oh, go ahead.
Because are you there all day, like from breakfast to dinner, and then?
No, there's not enough work to do in the winter on a boat, because when the cold weather comes, wood becomes harder. It becomes drier. So if you try to bend it and mold it, it can crack. You need some moisture in the air. So there's just not a whole lot of stuff to do. If anything, it's mostly, I'm going to need rope hooks. I'm going to need shield mounts and working on the tiny accessories. So I wouldn't be in the shop for very long at all.
Okay. So kind of like midday after lunch.
Yeah, I'd say probably after lunch, before evening hits, I'd go and just help out the town wherever I was needed. Or if I wasn't needed, I would just wait. Maybe go visit my parents.
Okay. So you're heading back to your parents, and you approach and you hear your mother speaking with someone very joyfully. And you didn't know you'd be having visitors. And she's not speaking to them like at the shop. She's speaking to them like inside the home.
Alright, well, I'll walk in, introduce myself, but I want to walk in and see who it is first.
You walk in and you see she's speaking with a girl that looks very familiar to you.
Okay, where have I seen her before?
Well, you did tell her to go cook at the Jarl's place, but it seems she's found her way over here to
so
your mother.
I know her. Got
yes, you know her.
it. It almost sounded like it was a mystery familiar to you. I was like,
No, you know her.
How's it going? How's work been?
Good. I wasn't really needed there, so I started looking for other things.
Oh. Yeah, I was really hoping we'd have more stock by now, but seems it looks for not.
Well, I've been learning how to handle the shop some, which sounds like a lot of fun, and so I've been learning that and trying to see if I could help out.
He chuckles a little bit. Well, if you intend on being a traitor, the work never ends.
Well, can't be bored around here, can we?
Nope, I don't imagine we can. So, Mother, what's for dinner? Maybe I can go help gather some small game.
She holds up 2 fresh hairs. Actually, they were brought to us.
Ah, of course.
Gesturing to your associate, as you may refer to her as, and the basket in front of her that she brought some food stuff, and apparently had been working in gathering some of the food stuff to help out as well.
How'd you catch this game?
Well, I, picked up a few things back at the homestead about making snares, and so I put a few outside of town.
It's a very useful skill. We're gonna have to rely on that a lot towards the end of winter.
Do you know how to make snares? I figured you probably do.
I do, yes. In fact, I'm gonna push up my glasses here and flex on her a little bit. I can actually make animal live traps, so it's a little better than a snare. So I'm like, oh, well, snares are good and all, but have you ever really thought about maybe a falling trap? It doesn't take much force to smother the animal or break their necks. And then I'm just showing her how it's designed.
Roll a skill check for that.
Ooh, gladly. To make the trap, the skill DC is 13.
This is conveying the information as well. So we'll have you roll it, and then based on how well you do will be how much she's able to pick up by the way you do it.
That would be a 16.
So that's enough points above that she's able to decently gather what you have instructed. And she's like, well, thank you. I hadn't had the chance to learn as much about these as you have, so I appreciate the knowledge.
Well, it's something that we all need to learn here in this town, I have a feeling. Even if we do get to planting, we've got 2.5 times the population we did before. There's no way the local land will support this. That's why this spring, I'd like to see about reestablishing the town that was lost.
Agreed. It sounds like that is the plan, from what I've heard from others. It's just within the winter, rebuilding homes is a bit difficult, so it makes sense. There was an individual in town looking for you as well, Bjork. He was a bigger guy. He said he had some sons and wanted to talk to you.
Oh, right. I should probably tend to that. Listen, I owe you an apology. I've been trying to keep you out of a lot of stuff. So if it seems that I've been cold to you in the past, there's a reason for it. I'm not exactly the safest person to be around right now.
Oh, I don't.
I kind of glanced at my mother like, don't tell her the details, but...
Oh, I don't mind. It's not exactly safe for anyone on the island, from what I hear.
Well, this father of the sons, he's already lost 2 or 3 because of what's been going on, so I better go see him.
Oh, he didn't seem upset.
Oh, I know. It's
okay.
He probably hasn't lost him since, but still, his sons gave their lives to help me, and I owe him a great deal of respect. Goodbye, Mother. I don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully I'll be back in time for dinner.
We'll see you soon.
Ragna, I grab her hand, and this is going to sound weird, but they didn't really kiss the top of the hands, at this time frame. So I grab her hands, and I draw them up to my chest. I squeeze them. I'm like, hopefully you'll be here when I get back. But it means the same thing as kissing the top of a lady's hand.
She smiles and like, I hope so. And
I guess I'll go out and try to find the father.
okay. Asking around stuff, you're able to track him down. You probably find him at the Jarl's hut. Which, Lambast would be the nearby as well, but he doesn't know him.
Right. If Lambast is nearby, I'm gonna go check on Lambast.
Lambast is there training his crew. And they seem like they're shaping up to be pretty decent, actually, from what you can tell.
Well, good job, Lambast. Is this
Hey,
how your
Eric.
people fight?
This is how people who are trying to survive fight.
Makes sense. Just be good to know a little bit of you is rubbing off on him, some new strategies. You know, we Vikings, we fight a certain way, and sometimes a different strategy can really throw off an offender.
Sounds about right.
Seeing that Lambast is a man of few words today, Bjorn just kind of smiles. Well, I'll leave you to it then.
Wait, you missed the whole Rick. You didn't get to see the whole Ric Flair impression.
Nope. And I turned on my heel and I head into the longhouse.
Okay.
Lamb, seeing Bjork walking away, realizes that maybe Bjork came here for a reason, and is all like, Bjork, did you need something?
You can tell there's a hesitation. No. Mostly just admiring the art, learning.
Okay. I'll see you later.
I'll see you later, Lambast. And as he turns away from Lambast and he's going inside, he's imagining how he was hoping to see some of, Lambast's people's fighting techniques. Because if we do go over to Lambast's countryside and decide that we want to make that our new home, it's not always welcomed warmly by the locals. So it's nice to know how to fight the locals if need be. And I enter in the longhouse, and I think I'm going to keep as low profile as I can, socialize with people as I walk through, but mainly look for the father. It's nothing to draw the Jarl's attention.
Almost immediately after you walk in, you're like grabbed from the side and given a warm
I need
welcome.
5 minutes, guys. I'm sorry. I have to use the restroom.
Okay. You're given a warm welcome by this large, ruffian-looking individual who you recognize. Bjork, my lad. I heard what you did for my boys. We came over to lend a hand.
I wish I could do more. I'm sorry for your loss.
Well, I'm glad you showed up to help see what happened at the town and give them a proper burial. They were trying to fend off those loathsome individuals. So, I have a feeling they went to a good place.
I know they did, screaming on the wings of a Valkyrie. I promise you this, though. That land will be resettled. And the land where your sons fell will soon become a fertile land for a whole nother group.
That is the plan. Apparently, my son has taken a liking to the Lady of there and is speaking with the Jarl about taking over the work there.
When he mentions that, Jarl almost has a look of relief on his face about how he almost married her out of obligation. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
If you, for those who may have missed it, didn't mean to bump the mic. Fjord, the wise older brother of the two who died, who's this guy's son, stepped in because he's closer in age, and it was like, Bjork, I don't think so, and kind of took over and saved Bjork from make a commitment that Bjork didn't really want to make but felt was the right choice.
Nice.
Speaking of which, your sons, or even you, would you be interested in a Viking?
I might. I know one of my boys won't, since he'll be setting up a homestead.
And I understand
I
that.
can probably get the other one to join.
Now, when we make landfall, I won't be coming back. But the idea is that I want to help build a small dock so that we can ferry ships back and forth. I know that's a little bit of a different strategy, but I've been watching Lambast fight lately. And I don't think the typical negotiations will work. And I also don't think the typical hit and run tactics will work. I think we'll find a patch of land that nobody's settled in and just claim it. But that will require potential defense.
So you're planning on trying to acquire new lands?
I think it's important. I've been studying the map with this whole winter, trying to figure out how we were going to get food, and the fact of the matter is this island that Odin has given us is... we're starting to feel its size now. Now that all the towns have been thriving and trade has been moving back and forth, with the exception of one town getting razed and several citizens dying, if we're not careful with how we utilize the resources on this island, we will strip it, and then we will become nothing more than raiders.
Understand. I'm not didn't
My
say
hope
we should or
is
shouldn't.
that-
I was just trying to understand your position, so thank you.
Yes, well, you've known my father for a while, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You must have noticed that even before he adopted me, I haven't really belonged here. I would like to think I'm humble enough not to say that I'm made for some greater fate, but I'm not made for what is required of me here, if that makes sense.
What do you feel you are for?
I'm a craftsman. I'm a designer. I'm a dreamer. I want to build stuff that we could use. Permanent settlements, not... And don't get me wrong, he's looking around the longhouse. This is a permanent settlement, but it's not defensible. Look at the point we're in. These buildings can be knocked down or burned with torch. No, my passion's not only in boat building, but so much more. Stone buildings. Water that can be ferried leagues across the land. Ways to transport more goods with larger boats. Did you know, and I lean in almost conspiratorially, I was talking with Lambast about the ships that they have for his people. They are so much larger. Even the smallest trade vessel can do the work of 12 good Viking ships.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Which
Maybe
means
those
they
should
have
be
lots of
required.
trees, they have lots of food.
Yeah.
They have... But this island... We need this to be our capital, but we can't harvest it dry.
Understandable.
If anything, this winter has shown us that.
Do you know where Lambast's island is?
No, but I'm confident that Odin will show me. I don't know why, but when I was building the boat originally, I felt no inspiration, no guidance. But the moment that I decided in my head that we needed to go to Lambast, I had to at least return Lambast, who was wrongly taken. Well, it was at that point that I started to see things. I started to feel my destiny being pointed into the direction, and now it's a tide that has swallowed me up and I cannot step out.
Interesting. Do you have...
Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know.
What?
Do you have any details or maps that are in the area, or were they all missing? I know that the housecarls that are missing are typically take the maps with them when they go selling.
Well, that's just it. You see, I've been trying to track out who Lombast's original owner was.
Mm-hmm.
The original, the one who took him from his lands. And like you said, if there's one thing Vikings are good at, it's map making. Whether it's sea cartography or even where we find resources and land. But I mainly need that information to find out what the dialogue was. Was Lombast taken illegally? Was he a criminal that was sold to us? If he's a criminal, I certainly don't want to walk in and just deliver them, but, well, if you know Lombast, you know that he lives two lives. And I get the feeling that the life he lives here, when he deals with us, he's always known was going to be a temporary one. He's always known in his heart that he's going to go back. They even have different gods. That can't be comfortable for him.
That's
Can I
interesting.
offer something out of character?
Hmm?
Can I offer something out of character that most of the party would have seen?
Sure.
I'm sorry you said Lombast, but I'm sorry. But Varger and Rhysand had developed a bond, and that that with messing with one of them and messing with both of them. Like it's just you can see it in Reese's eyes, and Varger is much better at hiding that, but you can see it in Reese's eyes that is his partner, so.
Yeah, that wasn't involving Varger or Reese on that. It was okay.
So
Yeah.
I actually realized that when I already butted into the conversation, so I apologize deeply.
It's all good. So Bjork is talking with Siggy, who is someone who was played before. It's okay.
I made a mistake.
I'm just bringing you up to speed, just in case you didn't know.
I was just going to give heads up to people who might think they're going to attack Varger.
So Siggy is talking with Bjork right now, and Bjork, he's like, "So intriguing thoughts. We may need to see what we can do to find that out. I know, I believe it was Oscar was the one who purchased him from a merchant passing by."
Okay, well then that merchant will have the information I'm looking for. Unfortunately, Oscar's not back.
Oh wait, not Oscar. Forgive me, I used the wrong name there.
It's
Beckett.
okay, you have
Beckett.
a whole world to run inside your head. No, I'm just kidding. Beckett. Do I know Beckett, or do I need to make a roll for that?
Beckett is the one you went to his homestead with some horses, and to get horses.
That was where we fought the cat creature.
Yes. Yes. That's where you fought that giant cat. That's the southeast corner of the island. You can see the horse there.
Yeah, we actually say they owe me, technically. My next question actually, no, I'll do this in roleplay. But, Siggy,
yes.
You were looking for me.
I wanted to inform you of my appreciation for what you did for my boys.
I get it. I understand. It really is no worry. I do have a question for you, though.
Sure.
Well, what has limited you to only ground travel when you trade? I mean, do you not fancy the sea?
I've never had a boat. It's never been an issue. It's never crossed my mind. I tend to stay to the woods, to the west of the island. So he's talking about that he tends to spend his time in those woods, not even actually at the homestead. If you recall, him and his family seemed to be near to the homestead, but was more in the woods around it. Almost like they're part, but not really part of the culture of the island. Something's off or odd.
Well, I am relieved to hear that. So let's make a formal agreement. Consider it a business deal. If you travel with me to Lambast's homeland, if we find it, and you bring a few men, you know, with your connections, you probably rally a few. If you happen to like where we dock and start up our new settlement, I'll let you have the boat. Then you could do trade between both areas. You might do pretty well for yourself.
You wouldn't want to travel back and see your folks?
No, my hope is to take them with me.
Interesting.
Which would mean trade would fall solely on your shoulders.
I've never
And if
been
they
much
decided
for
not to go,
trading. I tend to prefer to stick to my own in the wilderness.
I see.
Maybe we can go hunting sometime and you may learn more.
You saw the dragon head, the ice sculptor we have outside the longhouse?
I did.
I definitely could learn how to hunt. If it wasn't for Reese, none of us would have seen it coming. We would have lost a lot, but Lambast's men ended up slaying it.
How do you do with the cold, my boy? You get like
The
this,
cold?
like you see his eyes like lock on you like a predator, like capable of ripping prey apart.
Cold on land is nothing compared to the cold of the sea.
I mean the cold of the dead of winter.
He kind of like tightens his cloak around him. Well, I seem to be handling it just fine.
Then let's go tomorrow.
Well, that's not. I would appreciate it, and I don't mean to turn you down, but I have a lot of work to do before spring. Unless, that is, you want to go hunting somewhere around, you know, Beckett's area.
We could do that.
I wouldn't mind taking you along. In case any more of those cat creatures pop out, I imagine food's scarce for them too.
Certainly, if you have some deals with Beckett you need to make, we can certainly head that way. You mentioned being curious, so I figured it would be a good opportunity to teach you.
First,
And to learn some things.
First, I will need to find a way to break this to Lambast without him suspecting I'm trying to manipulate him. Which I'm not, but push comes to shove, the call of destiny. I can't ignore it.
Very well.
And I don't imagine going back to his original owner is going to sit well with him.
Well, let me know when you're ready and we'll set off.
Alright, but you can tell your sons, but don't tell anyone else about this.
Oh, only one of them would be capable of going. I'll be sure he's, sober enough when the time comes.
I just know that I've already generated enough popularity in this town, more than I'm comfortable with, and I'm not used to not being able to do stuff without anybody taking notice.
I understand.
I guess that was the advantage of being a sheep. Anyway, Odin be with you. And
And
fight
with
bravely.
you.
And I give him a firm handshake and then turn out the door to approach Lambast.
Sure. Lambast is still out there wrapping up the training of his crew.
Lambast, if you have a moment.
What's up, Yorick?
When you're done with the training, if you'd like to come over to my parents' place for some meat and some food, I would love to have you as a guest. I have some things I'd like to ask you.
Sure. I'll be over there in a bit.
No rush. And then Bjork's gonna turn on his heel and try to find Varger and Reese.
You would see Probably you'd see Reese leaving Varder's home on the other side of town.
I'll do the soccer mom power walk to catch up to Reese.
Reese.
Reese! Reese, wait up.
Good men.
Are you hungry?
Always.
Alright. What were you and Varga up to?
We were fortifying the bonds of our brothership.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've got an opportunity for you. It could potentially mean a hunt in new lands. Well, same island, but new area.
Just sounds interesting to me.
Alright, you know where
I
my
will say,
parents' place-
Bjork, you got the indication from Siggy that he was saying it should be you and him, not a crowd.
Oh. Well,
For
I
this
invite him anyway.
endeavor. Okay.
Because we can always go off on our own. We can still travel as a group.
Just want to make sure that that part was conveyed clearly. But yeah, so you invite him over for dinner and for a trip, and then you're not far from Varger's house, where you're at right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go turn to the cat house and visit Varga.
You have this nice wafting scent.
Acrid stings the nostrils. I don't just barge into his door. I'm gonna knock because
Polite, yeah.
he's a holy man, and I think it's polite.
Varger Reese just left, and you hear a new knocking at your door.
The door will like peek out just enough that he can open up just enough that he can peek out. Yes.
Ah, Varga. Are you busy this evening?
Is it? He looks at. He kind of opens it a bit outside. Is it evening now? I can't tell.
No, sunset doesn't come for a few hours, I think. I'd say it's midday.
It's probably an hour or two till dinner. And of course you want to finish dinner before sun's out, otherwise you're eating just by the glow of whatever light you have.
Is this something you needed, friend Bjork?
Well, I was just going to speak with you all about my plans for spring and wanted to see if you wanted to go on a Viking with me. I of course have more details we can discuss, but there's a few things we need to take care of beforehand, and I need some information gathered. Thought maybe you'd be the right person to help me out with that task.
Hold on. He'll close the door, and you could probably hear some rummaging things, and then after about half a minute or so, he opens the door back up, and he's a lot different, a lot different looking than he started out with. His hair is let down instead of put up. He's got a hood and cloak over himself, so that he looks like the masculine equivalent of what an old cat lady would be, really. Like the stereotype of what a cat lady would be.
I love that. The masculine equivalent, I could see it too, like a lot of greens and thicker cloth. How are the cats?
The blessed ones are quite good. I just need to go prepare if we're gonna go on a Viking to make sure that they don't start.
Well, the Viking won't be for a couple months, so we'll have plenty of preparation time. It's mostly the information. You want to walk with me to my homestead?
Yeah.
And on the way, we can roleplay this if you want,
Yeah.
Plaid. But on the way, I would just express to you what my intentions are. Lambast is an incredible fighter. I don't know if you've paid any mind to his techniques. And he speaks of a land far away with different gods and a different society. One where a winter like this wouldn't have occurred. People wouldn't be borderline starving.
So, your plan is to...
Well, primarily my plan's to take Lambast home. He doesn't exactly know how to get there. He doesn't know where this island is in relation to his homeland. And I'd like to return him to his people. You can tell there are a lot of our customs that rub him the wrong way. And to be honest, they're starting to rub me the wrong way. He spoke of buildings made of stone, steel aplenty, the armor, plates of steel. Food, unmatched with trade. If you couldn't grow something, you could have it delivered. Then there's here. Stuck on this island. As population grows and grows and grows, we are forever stuck on this island. And I don't know how big your homeland is, or if you had any desires to go back, but the information gathering I need is that I have to find out who sold Lambast to Beckett, one of the leaders of a town to the east. And if we can find out how to contact them, or at least any information that Beckett may have on trade maps, so that we could go find our way. Other than that, if I don't have a direction, I'm going to set sail in spring and let Odin guide me.
Vargr would know that where you grew up, Vargr, was a lot more of a wild land, like forest.
Well, we had a border, right? It was it was vast, but we knew where the boundaries of an island were, or was it just forest that kept going?
You only knew of forests, like your place was in a forest and was on a large river that led out to the sea. That's where you were raised. You don't necessarily know how big the island was, but what you know of it was large forest. Like large trees, like old growth forest. So, like, you would know that the trees here are, like, the big trees here are just normal sized trees. It's what you had on the island. It's fairly common.
Mhm.
But it was also known to have a lot more wild beasts, so it was also a lot less safe.
We need to find who sold Lambast, right?
Yes.
So, how do you want my skills to be used?
Because I'm not entirely sure Beckett will be forthcoming with that information. He owes me a favor, but generally here on this island, when you make a trade contract, you don't ask questions on where the trade comes from. I mean, you know, but you don't spread that information out. You usually keep the information documented in your books or map scrolls of different areas. It's not information that is even led out to the common people. Part of the reason why is because if Lambast turned out being a really great slave, then other entrepreneurs in your village would seek out that land to get more, and then we'd have a whole other problem on our hands. My goal is to take Lambast back, but I don't think Beckett will be sympathetic to that, considering he bought him as a slave in the first place.
So, you want me to carouse?
Potentially steal, yes. To acquire. If things turn south and it looks like we're not going to get anywhere, I would need you to acquire those materials.
What do we know about this individual? Has Lambast told us much? Or my experience before, maybe?
Of Beckett?
Yes.
What I can tell you is that Lambast had a great distaste for his servitude and the whole schism of slavery, just as much as I do. I don't imagine Lambast would have been very happy to be sold to Beckett, whether or not Beckett was a good man. But I'm hoping that Lambast will understand that I'm headed over there and he can choose whether he wants to come or not. And that would be a good indication on how comfortable he feels about the situation.
You have my help. We're friends.
The main thing I want to do is get everyone who wants to go back home. Reese was also taken from his lands, which, from what I can understand, is your lands.
I think, yes, he is from my lands, but a different part.
He's from a
Right.
different island that your mother was taken from, just to make sure you're aware, Barger.
So he reminds me of the aspects, the little memories I have about my mother's home island. But I'm an amalgamation of two islands, as far as I know.
I understand that. But you don't speak of your father much. You mostly speak of your mother, which tells me that your heart is on her side.
If anything, I would like to go, and he'll pause for like a second. And Reese is more than a cousin. He is a brother. And I don't see myself as my father's island anymore. I see myself wanting to know more of my mother and her life for my father. So if we could take Reese back to his island, I would probably stay.
I extend a hand out. I was hoping you'd say that. Consider it repayment for everything I ask you to do. I've already made the promise to Reese to take him back home. I'll make the same promise to you.
You all do know there is one other lady on the island who is from that island as well.
Yes. But yeah, so Bjornik extends his hand to Varger. I'd also like to take the woman back.
That would probably be harder to do than we think we realize.
Why?
What if... I don't know. What if she doesn't want to go? What if it's But if she has things going on in her life that we don't know about, that God's forbid.
I've spoken with Asleaf a lot. Not as much as you, but about different topics. She resented leaving her home. That spite you see in her eyes is not a spite for people, it's a spite for being out of place.
You actually get the feeling it's probably more than just out of place. There is a boiling hatred beyond probably anything you've seen before.
So, I would like to take her back. But again, we'll discuss this at dinner. I imagine now we're approaching my place.
Yeah, you're right on the outskirts of, probably a few steps away from touching the door.
The truth is, Vogger, I can't continue on the boat until the weather gets more moisture. Working wood in the dry winter air, you'll split the beams.
When we reach the door and you say that, underneath the cloak that Vargar has on, and in his almost like his, not his backpack because it wouldn't mean anything, but in his belongings, you're
like a haversack.
Yeah, in the haversack here. And
Did you bring a cat?
They would not live without me.
Well, I will make sure that that Ragna doesn't eat them. And I laugh.
Vargar, it's just his deadpan, blank stare, just she had better not.
It was a joke. It was a joke, Vargar. Come on, why don't you and your family get warm? And I open the door for him.
Okay. You open the door and you see a girl that was at Oscar's homestead, who was the right hand of the girl you made passes at and were thrown out for Vargar, sitting in here. In fact, she's the one dishing out the meal.
He's just kind of taking in this moment. Hello. just very casually, just hi there.
She turns and nods and is like, "Welcome back, Bjork."
Thank you. Now that Bjork's sitting down to eat, he's gonna go put his horn in his room. His horn and his weapons.
Mm-hmm. You go in there and you see something wrapped in leather on your bed.
Immediately he looks over his shoulder and down the little corridor to the main meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
That better not be her clothes. And he kind of goes over to the leather and opens it up.
You see some maintenance tools, so like a fresh whetstone and some other items for sharpening and honing and keeping your tools and your weapons in shape and working order.
Does this package bear any markings of Siggy?
Nope.
Okay.
Roll
it up and...
a perception check.
Okay. Gladly.
This will tell you if you catch any subtle aspects to it. Because there's nothing visible to it.
Nope, I don't see a damn thing. Perception, that will be a 9 total.
Yeah. It's subtle enough that you don't catch any indications.
I just put them in my haversack. that can be on me at the table. But I would draw my spear and prop it up on the wall and pull out my knives and my hatchets and leave those on the counter, or like the small little dresser box I have, which is like a vertical chest, and place the horn on top as well, and then turn around and head back to the kitchen.
Now, you do know that not everyone at Oscars where you were all born on this island. In fact, you don't know necessarily, since you guys haven't looked into it, who all was or was not born on the island.
No, I always chalked it up as that was the norm, because servants are traded all the time.
Mm-hmm. You know that you were Bjork. You know Lambast wasn't, as well as your other two, but as far as your other previous companions and people at the other homesteads, you don't know. So when you come out, you hear Ragnar talking about a land of like green rolling hills with sheep and other creatures and round stone houses. Never heard of these details she's talking about when you come out.
No, I kind of just sit down and just listen to her.
In doing that, you notice she's actually talking with your mother, and she's like, "That sounds like a very interesting place, Ragnar. And you said that's where you were born?" "Yes, that's where I was raised until taken and brought to Oscars." They bring food over and set it down. Your father comes in.
When you were taken from there?
I was like, it's been a while. I think I was like 7.
Do you know what kind of gods you had?
It's been a while. It's hard to remember some of that.
But it wasn't Odin, was it?
No.
I only ask because it sounds like Folkvanya. That's the other heaven. You have Valhalla, and then you have Folkvanya, which is the fields. But stone buildings, you have my interest. And maybe for the first time, she genuinely sees Bjork very interested in what she has to say, hanging on every word. Describe these stone buildings to me, and I kind of pull out my sketchbook and try to follow along and see if I can sketch something similar to what she's describing.
Could I see your book?
When she says that, you see for a brief moment Bjork turn into Bilbo Baggins, like, "Now it's mine!" Like the knuckles delight, and then he kind of slides. He intentionally hides the last 3 months of entries, like he does not want her to see it, and then slides it over to her. But then looks away, like if she's gonna look, she's gonna look. Like he doesn't want to look like a panicked fool.
Oh no, not my smut volumes.
What's on the page that you hand her?
It's blank. I was getting ready to draw,
Okay.
but you would see that there's definitely some charcoal smudges, meaning that there was something on the previous page that I've sketched, should she get curious.
She would look at what's like nearby some, but not like prod into all of it.
So she just kind of like checked the first couple pages before that.
Yeah.
She would see
Briefly.
that in my boredom where I couldn't have worked on, it would start with boat sketches, but then it would end with sketches of her doing her daily routine since she's been in the town. And if you want, I can roll a skill check so that they're not stick people.
Yeah, go for it. We'll see how well crafted it is.
Oh no, it's gonna look like a Henry Stickmin episode.
Well, there's still
Did I go
there's
for it?
2 group inspirations from the previous sessions that weren't used if you need.
Oh, that's not bad.
Dex.
15.
15, not bad. It actually looks decent. Under one of them where there's enough space to do it, instead of the blank page, she draws a fairly detailed...
That bitch. She didn't even use the blank page, she used
Well, no,
Damn it.
there was a, like... One page was used, the other one was blank. So instead of the 2 blank pages, she went to where it was just 1 blank page. Or
Okay,
mostly
got it.
blank. So she's trying to not use extra space than's needed.
Oh, that's not the point. The point is Bjork was hoping she wouldn't have seen those.
She draws this picture, a sketch of like some rolling hills and smaller stones put on top of each other, and then a wooden frame built up from there in a circular building.
It doesn't look like a watchtower, right?
No.
I've seen a wooden watchtower.
Yeah, no. It's a home, like it's small compared to like
Did
a
it-
fortress or a watchtower.
I'll wait until she's done drawing, but in the meantime, I'll reach into my haversack and pull out some of the meat, like the smoked meat rations, the jerky, and hand it to Varga for other guests.
Thank you. And
She-
Bill-
Reach in, will look over at you and doesn't quite put his hand out, but doesn't quite not put his hand out, just like looking at you like, share, you know.
I pull another set of rations without even thinking about it and hand Reese some of the dried meat.
All right, well, Reese will take the dried meat and walk outside and hold his hand up to the air, and Farrah will come down and eat the dried meat from his hand, and then he'll come back inside, like that was perfectly normal. Like that's how we live, you know. Like
There's a loud bang at the door.
Come in, Lamast. Bjork's invited them all to meals before, so he's kind of used to the heavy knock.
Yeah, you know your friend's knocks.
Thanks for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. I motioned to his chair.
Lembust, as you walk in, you see a girl that you've seen before, drawing or writing in Bjork's book.
It's a small village. You don't need directions.
She puts the charcoal piece in and closes it. What do you mean? And hands it back to Bjork.
I do apologize, my lady. I take that back. He does need directions on how to find his way.
Bjork chuckles and then opens it up and looks at the drawing. And then turns to Lambast and shows it to him. She was drawing what her homes used to look like in the land before she was taken. This is her homeland. And he points to the home.
Nothing
if
like
maybe
Lambast has ever seen before.
Well, that answers that question.
I mean, is it stonework?
Yes, it's natural stones. You're used to shaped stones, like cut stones, built stones.
Oh.
These are just natural stones stacked together.
Oh, like flagstones, and they're like interlocked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, like a sheep pen wall that you kind of seen in a round shape, but within wood structure for a roof above it.
Land answers back. Those are really cool, but they're not what I'm used to.
What are you used to? I slide the charcoal over to Lambast.
Draw me what you see.
Draw me like one of your French girls, Lambast.
Yes, draw him frankly.
Well, let's not be too frank about this.
Frankly, I just want to see the building.
Look, I know we're all frank here. Okay, we're all making historical jokes. I love it.
Yeah.
Technically,
Speaking
more
of which,
German.
Let me go get the frankincense for the table. No.
my name
That's
is
the
not
kind of-
Frank.
Those are the kinds of puns you could be killed for.
Oh no! Now you took it out of the realm. You took it too far, Varger. Your
Well-
dad jokes are on point, and you haven't even been a dad that long.
There you go.
Yeah, that's been actually.
Well, yeah, I just mean like an old
But no,
guy
I get
like
it.
me.
Yeah, I get
Daughter
it.
is graduating next year.
Lan puts his finger on like the page and then draws the outline of it. And then he puts crossbars on it, kind of like mismatched. And he does that a couple times, like up and down. And he's all like, "These are what my walls look like, kind of like this. They're stone, but they're shaped stone, and they're set in a offset, so they don't crumble."
How do you get the stone shaped so uniformly?
We use a metal chisel.
It's done by hand? Fascinating.
Yes.
We got another Egyptian. They're Egyptians. They're Egyptians.
Like, to be clear, there are clay ones that we do fire that become really hard that we use sometimes.
Bjork makes a noise at this mention of clay. I'm sorry, Lambast. I'm always thrilled to expand my crafting, my work, and ever since you told me about these stone buildings, I've become fascinated.
Well, she's prettier than me, and you probably should be fascinated with hers.
But they're flagstones. They're not even shaped. And you see me like almost obtuse of what he's doing.
But Bjork, he looks at the picture that she drew again. Imagine how strong you have to be to make these.
Ooh. And actually, Lambast, you would notice that above that picture, like now that I'm so enthralled by us talking about this craft, I've completely forgotten. You can see sketches on one page starting off like boat designs, and then boredom take over, and you can say really detailed sketches of her that Bjork's been doing.
Hey, you should talk to her more. I'm only here for the food.
I see her. You know what? That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about, Lambast. Ragnar, I apologize. It is apparent to me that maybe I have not been courteous to you. What would you like to speak about?
I'd like to know what your plans are, what you're thinking. You
Well,
built
then
such a
have a
fine
seat.
wardrobe.
Join the circle.
She pulls up a seat and sits right next to you.
Lambast, I want to know how your people think. I want to know what inspires them. Tell me about your gods. I mean, the gods inspire all of us.
Well, our gods, which are only two, inspire us quite often. We spend our whole lives crafting to be closer to them.
And can you find yourself entering Valhalla based on your craft?
Yes and no.
Are you expected to kill to go to Valhalla? Or whatever your people call it?
I don't believe that is part of our customs.
Mm-mm.
We don't necessarily need to kill, but part of proving our craft is proving its dependency and strength in battle. He's all
But
like,
you don't. So you would go to heaven if somebody attacked and your buildings did not fall.
yes, but not necessarily our buildings. We would go to heaven if it took more than a couple people to take us down.
I will say, as he's saying this to Lambast, you remember with him saying that one of the titles of the main god, so it's a couple, right? You have the Iron Lord, but one of his titles that he goes by as well is the Unyielding One. And that is something that all the warriors take, is the vow of the unyielding god, in which they do the same.
Okay. So, you have many gods. One of my gods, one of the few, his nickname, one of his names that we go by is the Unyielding One. And we use that in our battles as we take on that name. We are unyielding in our combat. When we fall, it is because our equipment and our vigor have failed us.
Well, then allow me to ask you this. How do your farmers, your women, your sick, your elderly, how do they go to heaven?
On
They go to
that,
heaven too.
you
just
would
not
remember
very
the
far.
second of the two deities of your realm. Telos, the god of iron, the unyielding one, and his partner, his wife, Janath, the goddess of grain, earth, treating nature well, living in harmony with it, both using it and helping it.
Think of Freya. How she helps the lesser, non-warrior type people gain to a place below Valhalla. Right? Correct?
Well, yes, but we're chosen to be warriors at birth, whether we fit the mold or not.
Yes. Well, we have someone like that below the Unyielding One, and she takes them to the same place because their role is not the same as our role. Their role is to tend to the earth, to provide, to be kind to it, and as such, if they are, they also gain entry.
Fascinating. You know, here, if you're part of the warrior class and you don't die in battle, you have to jump off a cliff to your death.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
In my world, that's considered the worst thing to do.
So growing up to an old man and having a strong family and generating trade and wealth, that can get you into heaven.
More so.
If it benefits the Unyielding One and it is kind to the earth. Yeah.
Technically,
You
the
see?
best, like the highest level priests and stuff, are the oldest because they're the ones who have been unyielding so long that they've made it that far.
I think I think everybody, including Reese, who is very primal, he would notice this. There's a crack in Bjorik's resolve that shows up once in a while. I wouldn't call Bjorik the emo kid of the town, but he does fall into these slumps where he questions the purpose of everything. I think the last time you guys saw him in this slump was the day that he met Reese, was when Vikings attacked that other town and burned it to the ground. Because although Bjorik wanted revenge and saw it as wrong, by nature of his own religion, they were actually going to be rewarded by going to Valhalla for what they had done. And ever since that attack, ever since witnessing it with his own eyes, he has been hell-bent on releasing every slave and in a way turning his back on the gods. He does not think they're right. He's starting to feel more and more like a plaything and less like a cog of the wheel. And I think hearing Lambas say that, it's like when you hear that growing up as a kid, that somebody has a better life than you, and it's just like, well, that sucks.
Is there anything else I can answer, Bjork?
Do you mind if I get personal?
I mean, you already are. Go ahead.
I apologize.
Why?
Beckett purchased you, didn't he? Lord Beckett.
Somebody purchased me.
Beckett was the head of your homestead where you were purchased on this island.
Oh, you mean a guy who essentially traded me to the Jarl as a soldier? Yeah.
At the sounds of being purchased, Reese just stands up and stands away like 3 feet from the table, just the thought of being purchased is just beyond him. But he doesn't say anything else. He just stands up and stands like 3 feet away from the table.
Reese knows that's what he was destined for before he got off the ship, though.
Well, I'm going to be heading to Beckett's for a one-on-one hunting trip, a soul-searching trip, if you will, but while I'm in Beckett's, I would like to see if he has any trade information on from whom he bought you, and potentially return you home to your people. There's no reason why you should die here, because our own gods have pitted us against each other like a weird, odd game of chess. Whoever kills the other gets to go to Valhalla. Whoever dies with a sword in their hand gets to go to Valhalla. It sounds like a happy ending for both parties at the end, but I did not see a happy ending when I saw that town being attacked. And I want to take you home so that you don't have to die for our own glorification.
Byrrc, does your Odin not state that those who die in battle go to Valhalla?
Yes, but I'm beginning to wonder what sort of gods intentionally pit their own believers on one another for their own amusement. To die in battle, it's to show your servitude and loyalty to the gods. It's throwing your life away and your dynasty away just because you want to prove that you would risk everything for them, and I'm beginning to question if I want to follow a god who demands that kind of sacrifice. If that mentality wasn't here, then our islands wouldn't constantly be pillaging, destroying, and raping each other. We would be one. We would be one country. We would be one force.
Byrrc,
And
you assume too much. Lamb raises his shirt to show the slave brand. Did Odin do this to me? Did Odin tell those people to attack that village? You assume that Odin has created the situation, but if I die in battle to a wolf, I still died in battle. You too. Did Odin make that wolf pit against us? These are things that you assume we do not know. And because you assume them, you forget that the people who died at that village that I so met you at are in Valhalla because they fought back. Every single one of them that survived talked about how they were defended by the people who fought back. That is important.
that is true, but it is also of our religious beliefs that Odin does have some entangling with fate, and that he is always throwing obstacles of death to test you. You must either conquer it or be slain.
You
That
don't
is
know what
true.
they are, Byrrc.
But
And
that
because
is
you
not
don't know what
just.
they are, you're assuming. My gods mess with us all the time.
And I'm
It is-
sure they do. That is not my point. My point is, your people seem united.
Lamb will stand.
Everyone.
You are whining. We cannot change the fates that we are given. We can only change what it is. Do you see me crying about being a slave for almost the past 10 years? No. I've risen to a status and earned my freedom thanks to you, and I am still earning my place. Step up or don't step at all. And Lamb leaves.
Wait. Before you can leave, Reesan stomps his foot on the ground 2 times in a very, for him, very respectful manner, not to disrespectful.
I need
disrespect my
to
own.
grab some water because it's warm in here. My mouth is dry. So this is actually a great spot for a quick break. Let everyone grab a drink, and we'll pick up in 5 minutes. Sound good?
Alright,
Yeah.
so
Sounds amazing.
before y'all leave, let me explain. Reese is gonna just stomp his foot twice, thinking that's not like flipping over a table as bad as what he would have normally done. And he says, like, no no brother of Reese will ever be a slave again. You know, like he'd rather fall on his shield with you than let any one of you four become a slave again. You know, that's how he is, and I guess he'll follow out Dumbgraph.
Okay. And we'll pick up there in 5 minutes. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in 5 minutes. Welcome back. So we find our wonderful crew as Lambast and Reese have stormed out Bjork's home, leaving him there with Vargar, Ragnar, and his parents. How does Bjork react to this?
I'm going to need a moment. I stand up. I'll be right back. And I give a gentle squeeze to Ragnar's shoulder as I walk towards my room.
Okay. Vargar, anything for you while you see this going on?
Burger is kind of unsure what to do. But Reese went out, so Burger will wait for Bjork to go towards his room and then excuse himself from the table and head for Bjork's room.
Okay. So Bjork, you're in your room and Vargar starts to head for you. What do
Vargar
we
would
see you doing?
Vargar would see Bjork grabbing the horn, yanking it off of the tall chest he has, and trying to examine what material it's made out of.
Is this your small icon, or is your small icon that you're talking about that you had? The icon?
The horn that I blew.
Ah, right. Okay. I believe yours was bone, like ram horn.
Excellent. So I'm looking at it. I know just the thing. And I turn to see Vargar, and it's almost like there's a flush of guilt on Bjork's face.
Vargar?
Hi, Vargar. Sorry you had to see that.
One of the things you brought up at the table was you don't feel like the gods matter.
I think you misunderstood the conversation. It's not that I felt like the gods didn't matter. It's that I felt like we don't matter to the gods. We're nothing but pawns on their giant battle map.
And then why would we have gods of love and poetry and song and music?
All of the song, all of the poetry, all of the Edda, all of the prose, and all of the sagas are written to glorify violence. To glorify this machine that we're part of, this slaughterhouse for livestock. That's all we are, livestock. Your cats. Do you care for them as children?
I do.
Okay, now I want you to look into your haversack and I want you to point to your cats and tell them that they must kill each other. One of them must die in glory, the other one must succeed. And only then can both of them go to heaven. And even then, the winner of the battle can't go to heaven. He must still continue to fight bravely, because if he dies without a sword in his hand, he's going to hell. And one cat will go to Helheim, the other one will go to Valhalla. Now look them in the eyes and tell them that they must kill one another. Wouldn't you much rather them live together, be happy, love you? Isn't them loving you enough? Doesn't that quench your thirst for that kind of connection, Vargar? So go on. If you see nothing wrong with our gods, open up the haversack and tell them that they must die to earn your love.
Are we still
Can you do that,
talking?
Varger?
Are we still talking about gods?
Yes. You are the cat to the cats. You are the god. You provide them with shelter. You provide them with food. You protect them. You are everything to them. Now look in their eyes and tell them that they must kill one another in order for you to love them. In order for them to prove themselves to you. Because you're afraid of some big battle where you're going to need the strongest and not the weak. The weak go to hell. The sick, the weak, the misfortunate, they aren't worthy of your love. Can you do that?
Barger will be like, his face turned away because he's looking at his haversack, and when he looks back at Bjork, he's got tears streaming down his face, and he's broken up, and he yell. I can't yell because the kid's in the house.
Right.
But he just yells, "I am not my father," and he runs. He just runs as fast as
I grab his arm. I will roll a dexterity check if I have to, or an athletics check, I guess, to grapple.
Does Varga resist if he reaches for him or not?
I would say he would resist. So
Okay.
I hate to come in this halfway cocked, but if Varga's being grabbed,
No, you're not there.
Didn't you leave with Lambast? You stated you left with Lambast.
I did leave him in boss, yes. So, but I don't want. But if I was there,
You're not there.
If Varga was being grabbed, I would be,
It's not. I'm not tackling him. I'm grabbing his arm. I don't think anybody would overreact like that. I just want to grab him before he can wrench away.
If you're Matt Reese,
Reese isn't there. That's the
Yep.
point.
Reese is not there, so it doesn't
that's the
matter.
point. That's the
Go
point.
ahead
I
and...
I love the game. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry.
It's alright. So, yeah, it'd be a versus roll.
Oh, you'll beat me. I rolled a 4. My total athletics was a 9.
He might roll a 1.
Yep.
16.
Oh no.
So, Varga, you feel him trying to get you, and you just move out and can walk out if you so choose. But you know he was trying to get you for something.
yeah, Varga knows he was trying to tell him something, but he just books it.
Bjork, Ragnar comes over to you. Is everything okay, Bjork?
I was proving a point, and I think my point is proven. Do you want to see what kind of man I am?
You could say, I know. And I know
Good,
what kind of
follow
man
me.
you can be. She comes with you.
I go out to the barn.
You shouldn't do this. You should not do this.
You go to the barn? Mm-hmm.
Yes, and usually when people are working on ships, they have blocks and tackles, heavy-weighted stones on ropes to pull pulleys up so that he can hold large beams and put them into place.
Mhm.
And he's going to set a stone down underneath one of the blocks, put the horn on it, and lift the block stone as high as he can, and then cut the rope and try to drop the rock onto the bone horn.
Okay. Roll a d20.
Oh, come on now. There you go.
Nice.
I rolled a 17. Is there anything you want me to add to that?
No, that's fine. The modifier's added over here. The rock splits in half.
I'm staring at this horn like a two brute day. And you just see this. I would say Ragna sees this puzzling look like, how am I going to destroy this thing?
She's like, is there a reason you're trying to destroy that?
Yes. Ragna, what have you been all your life?
A daughter, a child, captured individual.
What have you wanted to be?
I think you know.
Yes, well, unfortunately, I'm not interested in what people want to be here anymore. I've seen it backfire. I've seen horrible atrocities against one another for the sake of shadows.
But where I come from, there's other beings. Strange creatures who are very powerful and aren't necessarily nice. However, there's others that conduct mighty deeds and help others. Nowhere is perfect.
I didn't say I was looking for perfection. I'm looking for agency.
I understand.
I'm looking for freedom. I am not going to be a servant any longer.
A servant to who? You're always a servant to some, and yet not to others.
Why?
As a parent, you technically wind up serving your children some, as without that, you have a community. If you want to be part of it, then you're technically serving it some. Now, that doesn't mean you are a servant. But if you are not, then you are nothing and have nothing.
Ragna, say we were to have children.
Mm-hmm.
And I do the exact same speech I did to Varga. I want you to imagine we had two boys, or a girl and a boy, whichever you wish. And I want you to choose which child will kill the other.
She puts her hand on you, like on your mouth. I heard what you said to him. I know.
Good. Then you know. There's a problem here, isn't there?
I didn't say there wasn't. But is it all or is it one?
If you ask me, and maybe this is just out of curiosity of when I first met Varga, but we're always afraid of Loki, but Loki's not doing anything right now. We're afraid of what Loki will become when Ragnarok arrives. He's tied up in Helheim right now by Odin and all the other gods themselves. So the only evil that's going on now are done by the very gods we worship.
Who's it that you worship?
Heimdall.
What has he told you to do? What is his...
He hasn't told me anything. Defense. Defense of the gods. Defense of Asgard. Not defense of Midgard. Not defense of her people. Defense of Asgard. And those who follow are expected to do the same. I'm not defending those gods anymore. Look at this winter. What is this, a test? Why should we be tested? That doesn't make any sense. Ragna, do you love me?
I do, and I'm very puzzled by your gods.
Why?
I always have been.
Why do you love me? What have I done to deserve it?
Well, long ago, you treated me kindly, and you actually offered, you asked something, and you kept your word. People who keep their words are important.
So, honor and kindness. Do you know what that amounts to in my faith?
I do. But I am
Nothing.
not of your faith.
It amounts to nothing. What faith are you of?
She pulls out a small book and hands it to you.
I can't read runes.
They're not runes.
I'm gonna open the book and see if I can see any pictures, because I probably can't read the language.
There are some pictures, but it's not a language you've ever seen before.
What is this? What do one of the pictures look like?
There's a picture of a lady and a lake. There's pictures of others like that, other beings. I think you know the route we're going with at this point, Jarl.
Yeah, swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have no idea.
Lady in a lake in a place of rolling green
Arthurian.
hills. Mm-hmm.
Well, what is this? Is she swimming?
No, she is of the water.
The moment she says that, I kind of close the book. Fascinating. And I hand it back to her. So, in this religion, could you be a total evil dirtbag and murder the warriors who dare having a different opinion than you and still be granted a place in your heaven?
If you wish to be extinguished, and no.
Alright. And I kind of reach for the book again, and I'm going to flip through and just look at all the different pictures, because that's really all I can do.
Mm-hmm. Which, you do see a lot of the Arthurian legend stuff there that, pictures of different parts of it.
Who's this? And I point to a wizard.
That's actually one that I prefer following. You know how you guys have your beliefs of Nidhogg, right?
Yes.
Well, we have similar, but slightly different beliefs.
I don't want you to go to home. I want you to stay awake.
So, don't speak to others on what you're about to see. She
What do you mean?
takes out of her pouch some items, some very similar to like the oracle's casting of the bones and stuff that you've seen before. She takes them out and they start floating above her hands, like you see like light motes or something coming from her fingers, and they're floating in her hands above. What would you like to know? What's some question you have?
What is the purpose of all of this? Why can't we just be kind to one another? Why can't we just work on bettering our communities? No more slaves, no more orphans, no more pointless wars, no more raiding, no more ransacking. What is the real purpose to life? Just a small order, right?
Yeah, right.
What is truly valued in a man?
She's like, are you sure you wish to know that?
Yes.
Are you certain? I ask because many people think they want to know questions, but when they get the answer...
Do you realize that if anybody were to walk in and saw floating stones coming out of your hand and that I was merely standing next to you, we both would probably be put to death for Loki mischievousness? I'm dedicated.
She starts... You hear her saying something and like it starts echoing and you're not sure. Is she saying it or is there like someone else saying? Like you look around almost like you hear voices behind you and stuff. And she touches your head. And what is the biggest question you have right now?
My subconscious is who is the man in the black cloak with the antlers from the vision. It's something that's always haunted him, and even though I'd have questions I'd want to ask relevant to how I'm feeling, that's the deepest thing in his brain that has been haunting him.
You mean the large man on the ship?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's like, obviously Bjork doesn't want to know that. He wants to know other things, but that's probably the thing that haunts him the most.
We'll come right back to you. The camera pans over to Lembast. Where's Lembast going right now?
He's just heading back to his room.
Okay. Reese?
Reese is he escorts Lambast back to his room. 1 second, hold on.
Okay. Yodak, as you pass the blacksmith, you hear a noise that's comforting to you because of where you grew up. The sound of metal being beaten into submission. The unyielding metal being formed
All right,
into
so
usable shape.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Somebody walked in my room and in my office when I was supposed to, and then it fucked my whole role playing vibe up. Sorry to cause any extreme D. Always. Okay, so Resan says, Resan escorts Dumbgraph to his room without anything, and then he sends Sora Fair out of a window to scout the thing. The first thing he wants to look for is Vargov, and then he wants to look for the rest of the party members in turn.
Okay.
Bjorn, and then he wants to try to make his way down to the bottom, so Farah can advise him on the best path to be because they're in sync telekinesically wise. You know, like they're telekinesis wise. If anybody ever records that or repeats that, I hate them.
Okay.
If anybody ever, so you just Farah would advise him on where he needs to be at this moment. Which one of them is in more danger? Is Varger feel does because Varger is more emotional than Bjorn. Does Varger feel like he needs his brother near him, or does Bjorn needs his brother near him? Which one of these people that Rhysand has made his brothers, who needs him more? And that's where he wants to go.
Okay. Well, let's get to that in just a minute. So, you actually see Lembast pause for a moment near the blacksmiths on the way to his thing. And do you send Farah up now, or do you wait?
And ended on escorting him to the hallway of his resting room, of where he would lay his head to rest. But if that's not in play tonight, then I'll escort him as close as I can get him. So because Rhysand, even though he's feeble in combat, he still feels that these are his pack, and he needs to be the alpha of the pack, and he wants to protect his pack. That's just the way his limited mindset seems.
Lamb stops at the blacksmith and is enjoying the sound, and then he realizes Reese is there. Reese, you don't need to follow me.
Very well, my brother. I was just trying to make sure you got home safely.
Well, I am safe and I am enjoying the sounds I am hearing. What do you need?
I need nothing from you but your hand in brothership.
You do not have it. I hope you have a good day.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I don't have it, or I do have it?
You don't.
I don't? Very well. I turn my back and I walk away and send her on her scouting missions. And Reese's mind is flipping over in somersaults, backflips, and everything, trying to understand what I ever did to Lembast to not be his brother, what I ever could have done to him.
Farah immediately, shortly thereafter, gives you the indication that she sees Varger, and he's in a hurry somewhere.
I immediately burn a primal point and catch up with Varger and ask him if there's anything I can do to help him, or does he need me to stay with him at the immediate moment however they would say that in Viking, I have no idea. But stay with you immediately. Do you feel veteran by your side? You are my brother, etc. I refuse to repeat somebody else's story where Dumbcraft has said I'm not his brother. I refuse to repeat anybody else's story because that in the little bit of social class that I know, that shows no class that you will repeat somebody else's story.
Okay, so you head off to Varger. Lumbast, as Reese turns his back on you and goes away in a displeased tone. What do you do?
How far am I away from Bjork's house?
You're a ways away. You're not like on the other side of town, but you're not that close.
I'm gonna find a stump, like a sitting stump, pick it up and walk over to Bjork's house, and then when I get there, I'm gonna put the stump in the front, outside the front door, and just sit out looking at the front door.
Okay.
That's what I do.
In the distance, you hear the hammering continue, because it's comforting to you and reminds you of your youth. Now, camera pans over to Varger. Varger, what has transpired? Go ahead and roleplay that out and describe it. You would be so kind.
So while all of this has been going on, Varger fully in this emotional meltdown. It has just images flooding back to when he was a kid, and just the thought and the process over and over and over again of his dad being like, I'll only love you when you're dead, or once you've entered the afterlife, then I'll be a father for you, or stuff like this, and it's just constantly just flooding back into his head. And I know it's not out of character. I know that's not what Bjork was trying to get to, but unbeknownst to everyone else, Varger kind of connects Loki. There's no separation point between Loki and Dad for him. He doesn't see them as the same person, but the same kind of entity, so to speak. So he's just constantly he had this brain snap, I would say, where no matter how hard he's been trying to get Frigg to get him to follow Frigg, be like, Mom, not pretend to be Loki, follow her, and to connect to his mom more. That hasn't helped him or kept him away from death. And so he just runs until he gets back, and he sees this temple. And all I can think about is what Bjork was saying. We're playthings. We're just pieces to be used and played with, and then the thoughts about Dad again, the thoughts about Loki, and thoughts about everything. And he opens the door and he just chases all of the cats out of it. He just screams at them and just pushes them out. And as soon as all of them are out, it's just him in the empty space. He just takes all of the I'll forget the term. Whether the equivalent of a fire starter would be, like he just sets a fire going, and starts to just try to think about things, and then he can't think about it in this space anymore. This place that was safe isn't safe anymore because it's just a den of a puppeteer, like a den of someone trying to pull the strings on his life again. So he just takes the fire and he just grabs pieces of it and starts throwing it against the walls, and until the walls are starting to burn, and he's kind of like runs out of that room as soon as he realizes that he's caught the whole place on fire. And as he's outside and it's starting to build up flames and smoke is starting to come out of the roof, he sees in the flames, he sees the image of a wolf, and he sees an image of a man shape, and the man shape is laughing at him, and almost as if he's enjoying the fact that Varger is doing this. And Varger had, in somewhere in his mind consciousness, is just like, I can't escape the gods. The gods haven't helped me at all. They keep my mom away from me. They tore part of the person that was my father. I tried to connect to my mother, but she's distant. She's off of the gods. She's just embraced being this toy to be used. And even when I try to get rid of things, there's always one thing in there.
With that, roll a charisma save.
It's based off of my charisma. That is a flat 8.
You fall unconscious, and we'll come back to that. Reese, you come running up. You see Varger's home on fire.
I immediately do the quickest scan that I can of the ground, looking for survivors. Is there people inside that I need to?
Roll perception.
Perception is what?
D20 plus wisdom plus proficiency if you're proficient in.
Yeah, I'm proficient. Oh no, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay, so D20 plus wisdom modifier.
Oh, it's a 20.
Oh, there you go.
Plus 4, so 24. With a natural 20 crit.
You scan around and you notice all the cats were driven out. You see them running throughout the town and fleeing, as though something scared them. You see Varger laying on the ground outside the house, unconscious.
I run over and I sit on my ass and I scoot Varger's head on top of my lap, and I pour my water skin on him and then slap him in the face. Varger, are you okay?
No response.
Brother, are you okay? Are you okay, my brother?
No response.
I immediately take him to. I scan Farah. I send Farah out to find a safe place.
You would know that your lodgings in the barracks is available, and you could bring him there.
Okay, so I'll bring Varger to there, and I will stand ferocious duty with me and Farah. We'll stand ferocious duty until Varger wakes up. Because Varger's my brother. All other people in this party are my brother. But Varger is my number one brother, and I will stand ferocious duty over his body. They'll have to kill me before they get to him.
Okay, so that is where you head off to. Camera watches as Reese hurries off with Varger, getting him into bed and watching over him. And goes back to Lambast as the snow starts wafting down this nice cold evening. How long do you sit there, Lambast?
Till Bjork comes out.
That's going to be a while. He's not in there. Would you stay there all night waiting, or what would you do?
Yeah. Yep, I would.
That's a tough thing to say. Have
Okay.
you ever stayed down there all
Roll me a
night?
d20.
I mean, are you a military man?
No, but I did cold weather survival in medieval gear, so I have an idea.
I'm not mad at you, dude. I'm just trying to say that.
Dude, you don't have to say you're not mad at me. You're good. I was just explaining my experience in real life.
Yeah, that's
13.
That is a tough. That's a tough pill to swallow.
That's good. After about an hour, Bjork's father comes out. Lumbus, can I help you?
Oh, just waiting for Bjork.
He's not here. He stepped out.
Oh. Huh. Well, I feel silly.
Would you like to come in?
Yeah, sure.
I'd hate for you to stay out here in the cold. Come on in.
Brought firewood. I'm carrying the stump.
I was like, wait, did he just... Oh, the
That's cool.
stump.
That is so cool.
Nice. Alright, so you're able to go in and stay warm by the fire and wait for Bjork there. Do you try to stay awake all night, or do you allow yourself to doze off, knowing that there's a good chance that the noise of the door opening would wake you up?
Nah, I'll try to stay up for him.
Okay, roll a Constitution
Now,
save.
Fire. Yeah. And it's a 2.
Okay.
So yeah, I probably doze off, right?
You either doze off or you have a level of exhaustion, but probably it would be that you doze off. It's cold, it's chilly, it's been rough, so you probably doze off.
I don't have my beer to keep me warm.
I'll be coming back to you, baby.
No, you won't.
Weird. I mean, I could just snuggle into it.
Never mind, no, I won't.
Now,
I'm a pawn in some other god's game.
yep. Who wants to go first, Bjork or Vargar?
That's up to Vargar.
I'm leaving
I
it
could go either
between
way.
the two of you. I didn't know if either one of you were like, I'd rather go first or I'd rather go last, so that's why I'm asking.
Vargar, would you like some roleplay time?
I want unconscious burning my house down. I think it's your time.
Okay. I'll take it.
That'll be interesting. Bjork, you wake, or you feel like you're awake, but you feel odd. You look around.
Am I laying down?
Yeah.
I get to my feet
You're laying
and I take in my surroundings.
on nothing? Something? You're not sure. You look around and it's just stars. Everywhere.
I think Bjork, not having seen anything like this, gets this odd sensation of falling. His natural instinct is to lay back down, but he just realized that doesn't really help. So once he catches himself and the sense of vertigo goes away, he stands up. Ragna?
No response.
Oh, God. I'm gonna walk in a direction. I think what I'll do is I'll head towards the prettiest looking star, or if there's a nebula, or if there's something that would catch my attention that looks different than the others, I'll go in that direction.
Yeah, you do. Roll a perception check.
Oh no. That would be an 11.
That's enough. If it's just going to be lower than that, it would mean that you totally miss and think you're just walking towards a star. You start focusing on the stars, and you notice that the one you're going towards, instead of having just the absolute black, is like almost on like sky colored. And then you look up, and you see a figure standing before you that you can describe to everyone. I just sent it to you. so that you can
Okay.
use your descriptors to explain what you see standing before you.
Immediately, there is a sense of rage as I see a figure that I've seen once before. A helmet with 4 horns. 2 appear to be from some sort of cattle, while the other 2 are curved and they protrude from the front and curl up over the head, much like a goat horn. The armor itself is made of mostly leather with some metal that's gold, teal, and embossed with silver. A tattered black fur coat slung over one shoulder, fluttering in the wind, while a blue sash hangs from his belt down to the leather strips that make the skirt of his armor, which blend into a shadowy cloak of cosmic stars. And in his hand is a battle axe, very similar to the Viking flathead axe, but it's got a protruded point. And it's a lot larger than the normal hand axe that Vikings have. Who are you?
You hear a booming voice that is almost too loud to hear. And yet it kind of like echoes, which seems almost odd with where you're at. You know who I am. And at that he gestures, and the armor, all that gear, kind of goes away. And in its place, someone in like absolute whitest robes. The same individual is there.
I know.
Indeed, Bjork. What do you wish
Come
to
to
know?
play more of your games?
No, you came to me.
I was sent to you. Trust me, I didn't come to you. Are you gods enjoying yourselves up there?
No, unfortunately. Not all of us are in situations that we desire.
But that is the way it is, isn't it? You stand guard at the bridge of the Bifrost, while Odin's rule of who's just and who is not just. You realize he doesn't care anything about our spirit. He only cares about building his army for Ragnarok.
Does he care anything about me?
I'm not entirely
Or any
sure.
of the others?
Does he?
No,
Don't you see a problem with that?
I did not say that I did not. I do. However, I also see a problem with allowing existence to end.
Please.
Roll a charisma save.
Oh, hang on, let me zoom out so I can get into the die tower. That would be a 16.
You're able to hold your wits about you as visions rack your mind of Ragnarok happening. And beyond that...
Björn kind of shakes his head because he's watching the visions. He's not interrupting them, but he's seen them before. So he's kind of... It's almost like he's seeing a movie he's already seen. It's horrible, but he stays with the vision.
And you see that it continues on, and it wakens the serpent that destroys everything. All life, all existence, everything, and just darkness. Nothingness.
Am I supposed to be surprised?
I did not say you should be surprised.
I've seen this happen before.
If you can find another way to prevent this, I know those who would work towards changing things more. What you believe we are is not what we are. But it is more complicated. I have the feeling you're with one who can describe and explain more. But an eye is upon us, and I must send you back before problems arise for either of us. You have just a moment.
We are not what you all assume. And if the halls of Asgard must burn to prove that point, then they will. And he expends his entire moment spurning Odin.
Okay. You wake up. You're laying in Ragnar's lap.
Ragnar.
And you're starting to hear like the early morning birds before, like right before the sun comes up.
I told you to show me the wizard.
I
kind of sit up.
She's like, I showed you what you asked in your mind. If the wizard is what you asked, then why did you not see him?
Because I'm mad at the gods and I'm trying to destroy this horn. Clearly I've been fixated on.
I see. Well, unfortunately, that is how this spell works. It answers your question. Unfortunately, the question you thought you wanted and the question you wished did not align.
No, in fact, it gave me resolve. Apparently even the gods are pawns.
Oh, your gods are not gods.
I turned to her, quirk her brow.
I believe I heard
Explain.
you mention that you're going to travel to Beckett's. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you mind if on the route, if I came with you and we took a slight detour?
You can come along. After all, he kind of grins wickedly. Your drawers are finished. Why were you enslaved?
Because I was available and they raided our island.
Who raided your island?
She shows you the image of some individuals marked with, let's see, which one would it be? Had a marking, and I will tell you the marking in a moment. I just need to find it. Oh, sorry. I thought I had it here, but it's taking longer to find because there's too many of them. Where is the unpleasant dude?
Are you talking about video?
No.
Oh.
No. One of the quote-unquote Norse gods. There's one of them that is very barbarian-like, and I'm trying to find him. The one who the Danes would like most.
Are you talking about Baldur?
No.
No, probably not Baldur.
Baldur's a warrior. He's not barbarian-like. Like anger, rage, crazy. Well, there's
Are you talking about Odor?
Odor? Was that it? Let me look. Sunlight.
Sometimes referred to as Odd?
Author? Yeah. I was gonna say.
No, he was sun and light.
Because I know he's the god of ecstasy, inspiration, fury, rage, frenzy, craziness.
Buddha?
Mhm.
What I was finding is that he is sun and light. The husband of
he's
Freya.
He's tied with Freya, yeah, but he's the passion behind sexual encounters and the glory of violence, and it's what gives the berserkers their energy. It could be Tyr if you're talking about something a little more evil. I know Tyr is bloodshed and war,
Vidar?
but he's also justice.
Yeah, I think it was Tyr.
Tyr.
Potentially that I was thinking. It was
Yeah,
Odor or
he's usually
Tyr,
seen wearing
but
like a bear fur, or I can't remember if it's a cat fur or a bear fur, but he wears furs over his head like a cape.
yeah. She shows you an image of that.
What is this?
The icons that they held.
So we're looking for a worshipper of war.
They came, they raided, they captured, they murdered, they pillaged, and I was one who was captured. They did not do so in an honorable manner, as we were. They came during one of our ceremonies, and when many were sleeping or in their rituals, and took advantage of it.
Well, I think you'll find that honor does not matter to our gods.
Oh, I've realized that.
We should head back home. I have to get ready for the journey.
But yes, on the way to Beckett's, there is a location that we'll need to travel east a ways from the road. But I believe you might gain some understanding there. I would not necessarily suggest bringing everyone. But
well, everyone's going, or else we're not going to this place.
Well, I meant to the location I'm speaking of.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Unless you believe they're,
we could just tell them we're going to have sex. They'll leave us alone. He's dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs the horn. I need to find a way to destroy this.
Why do you wish to destroy it?
Nothing good can come from this, or any of the other gods. They believe in this cycle of destruction. But there are powerful gods out there that don't believe in that same cycle.
I know. And I don't believe they're what you think they are either.
Why is everyone speaking in riddles? Why don't they just come out with it? It's exhausting. I'm a simple boatman. You want me to carve you a perfect circle out of wood? That I can do.
It'll be easier to explain when I can show you details on it, which is why I wish to go there and show you.
Or why didn't you show me that instead of Heimdall?
It was not my choice. It was your choice.
It wasn't my choice. Magic is confusing.
Yes, that I'll agree upon.
Alright, let's head home. And before we leave the barn, I'm going to kiss her cheek. And, show some appreciation despite my frustration.
And that's where we pan over to Barker. Barker.
Yes.
You wake on a very lush green island. Nice fields. Noise of wildlife around you.
Do I recognize it at all?
No. You've heard stories of something like this, but you've never been able to be there. It reminds you of the stories that your mother told of her island where she grew up. Running through meadows.
He will slowly stand up and he'll just yell out for Bjork and Lambast and Reese.
They are not here. There's
Who
no
said that?
response.
Oh, is that you? Was that a voice saying there's no response, or was that you?
No,
You
I'm
saying-
telling you there's no response from them as you holler out, but you do hear one female voice say they're not here.
Then who is here?
Or perception.
That is a 10.
You think you see someone, but like you can't focus on them?
Know yourself.
I'm standing before you, Vargar. Your eyes are not used to this place, are they?
What is this place?
A
Is this
meeting
one-
place.
That was both descriptive and non-descriptive.
It literally is just a meeting place. It's where those who follow the lady may meet and speak.
And why am I here?
I would ask you why you are here. Why did you call me here?
My friend says that.
You're afraid what?
My friend says that we're just playthings to the gods. And I thought I was more than that. That if I showed my faith well enough that I was stronger for it. But nothing helped.
Did it or did it not? You may believe it didn't, but did it make you stronger? Did it make you better?
When all I had was my mother. Her faith was what kept me going. And yet, when I give in to my emotion, when I give in to how I feel, I didn't see her coming to my rescue. I didn't see Freak. All I saw was him laughing, enjoying it. So if this is a meeting place between those who follow the lady and those who don't, and I've devoted my life to following that which my mother gave me, pretending to be an agent of my father's faith, and hiding behind it to follow Frigg, and then following Frigg fully, and I can come this close to death, so close, with the width of a hair, and nothing change.
You may have missed something. Things always change, my son.
Varga will try and kind of like squint harder, because the my son thing, he's gonna like try to see if he's looking at his mother or if he's looking at somebody else.
Okay. Roll a charisma save, and if you do well enough, you can re-roll the perception. Basically, your force of will, your personality.
I'm gonna use my inspiration for that.
Okay. Probably not a bad time to do that.
That's 13.
Okay. Just barely enough. You're able to roll perception again as you're trying to gain your faculties in this area you're not used to.
Okay. Woo! 24.
There you go. You're able to focus finally, and you see your mother before you.
Is it my mother, or is it just an image of my mother?
It
And
looks
he says
like
that.
her. Oh, you say that?
I say that. I say. Varga says, are you my mother, or are you an image of my mother?
I am she.
Then and he'll look around him, and he'll look at this place. This place is beautiful. It is vast. It is covered in single blades of grass. And I thought I was like that. My friends think in some way that they are like that. I have Lambast, he believes that the sun is a different sun, but is the same sun. And I have Reese, who is my brother, but he is also not my brother. Oh, there's a baby. Way in the distance, I can hear it.
That happens on this domain.
I have, but a Bjork. I have. Something Bjork said cut into my being. Not just that we are Vikings. What he said reminded me of what Father said.
Ah, so that is what made you call out.
Will I continue on the path that I'm going with Frigg? Or do I go to the man in the flame? Live in his life.
We all have choices before us, Father. Only you can decide what is the right choice to be taken for you. Bjork is dealing with many things himself as well.
Varga will look at the image of his mother, whether or not he believes in his mother or not. But he'll look at her, and we are frank here in this. This is things that we would not say in front of our friends, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would not find out from you, I would assume.
No. This is a place where none can hear, except those who are here.
He'll kind of look away from his mother and look at all the blades of grass and things and say, York doesn't understand what it is to love. To be loved. He does not understand that there's pain. He does not understand my pain.
Maybe it falls on you to teach him, to show him, to guide him.
It's just this domain. I have so many questions. Does my mind manipulate it? Do I only ask questions to you? Can I ask questions to others?
You can ask questions to anyone who's here. We don't change this area. It is just a meeting place. That is comfortable for us to speak. As you said, it's beautiful, it's calming.
Okay. I want a fair discussion. And he'll think really hard. And really long. I want to meet him.
Who?
Here.
You want to meet who here?
A laughing man.
Oh, he is not allowed here. Based on your description, I do believe he is one that is not allowed many places.
If this is a meeting place where all can be welcome without scrutiny and have equal conversation,
All
why not?
those who follow her. She has segmented some of her power aside and created this area to be a safe place for those who follow her.
If I think of it, will it come to life?
No, that is not how it works.
Mm.
If you think of another who serves her, you can communicate with them and you both can be found here and speak. We don't have much time left, Farger. Dawn is approaching. I believe you have things to do. Is there anything else I can answer for you? Any guidance I can attempt to give you before the morning wakes you?
I think I've made up my mind. I thank you for this discussion, Mother.
Be well, my son. If you need me, you can come here. As long as you follow the lady, we may always communicate here. And at that, you feel the rays of the sun hit you and start waking you. Reese, I need you to roll a Constitution save.
Peace.
Reese!
Sure.
Alright. Go ahead and roll a d20 for him, because we don't have time right now to wait.
Alright. It's a 4.
Okay, that works. So you come to, you see Reese leaning against the door frame to your room, like standing guard.
Awake or sleep?
Sleeping. He's dozed off. You could tell he was trying to stay awake and just couldn't quite do it. And Lambast.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we find over to Lambast as Bjork and his companion walk in. Lambast, you hear the noise of the door open as Ragnar and Bjork walk in. But that is where we'll pick up next time as you all set out next time and see what you guys find, as well as come back to the scene.
Okay.
It's late enough, I figured we need to call it, but we'll pick up there next time where you are seeing Reese leaning against the door snoozing, and Lambast just got awoken by them coming in.
Oh, I wanted to say one thing, and that was it.
Yeah.
As he's like, if you're looking camera angles or whatever, that he wakes up and I see Reese, and then the Lambast and Bjork scene happens. So then it goes back to Vargo right quickly, and Vargo is sitting up. He looks at Reese, and he just whispers under his breath, "I am my father's son."
And that is where we'll pick up next week. Thank you all so much for participating. Hope you all had fun. Oof, been a crazy time. What a crazy time. Until next time, and as always, enjoy the story. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.